and welcome everyone to our HSC Office for Diversity, Equity, and Inclusion Black History Month. And we really want to thank you for taking the time to be here with us today, and for the nominations and our amazing awardees. Congratulations to all of you. So thank you for that. Black History Month is a beacon of celebration and acknowledgement, honoring the rich contributions and the unwavering resilience of our African American and Black community throughout history. And particularly in healthcare, it's really an opportunity to recognize the vital role that Black and African Americans have played and continue to play in shaping the field and improving the health and health outcomes for all of us. So this Excellence Award is presented to individuals during each Heritage Month as we recognize individuals or groups who have exhibited clinical, research, educational, and community engaged and/or DEI related excellence in support of diverse groups at UNM Health and Health Sciences and the communities that we serve. So today we're celebrating the work of the following individuals who have exhibited excellence in support of the African American and Black communities. Dr. Lindsay Smart, who is Associate Professor in the Department of Psychiatry and Behavioral Sciences and Associate Vice President for Leadership and Faculty Equity and Inclusion in our office. And she was nominated by Liz Hutchinson. Nicole Bedford, Community Engagement Liaison, UNM Hospital, Diversity, Equity, and Inclusion Department, and nominated by Millie Ledwith. Dr. Vanessa Al-Rashida, Community Faculty, Optum, New Mexico, and UNM School of Medicine, nominated by Bianca Vasquez. And Ruth Keith, Senior Medical Practice Specialist, Department of Pathology, nominated by Tyler Weisner. So congratulations to all of you, our award winners today, and for everything that you have done to bring to, again, the communities that we serve and our future health professionals. And we thank you for your dedication and support that enhance the culture and the climate for our health and health sciences and our communities. So the way that we have it set up today is we're going to give a few minutes to each of the awardees to share the following. So we'd like to hear a little bit about your journey to becoming a health professional, health staff leader, and how, number two, how you hope to continue serving the African American Black community and what this award means to you. And then as each person, an awardee speaks, we will then open it up to individuals who nominated them to speak on their behalf and any other attendees who want to offer words of support. So we'll start with Dr. Lindsay Smart.
Okay, great. Thank you. I am so honored to have been nominated and to receive the award, and also appreciative of being able to go first, as I have to make it to an eye appointment that, you know, once you schedule a year in advance, you're not allowed to change anything. So I was actually didn't intend to become a health professional. I actually started my career as engineering. I went to college as an engineer. I was also a college athlete, a college soccer player. And that is probably where my health profession journey began. Partly because there started to be more involvement of sports psychology and in the athletics area, but also because it was very challenging to be a student athlete and complete the engineering degree, certainly in a timely manner. And it's a challenge to do that dually. So luckily, I had a psychology class well, I should say the other piece with engineering that I struggled with, which I think has vastly improved since then, was there I think were maybe a handful of women in my specific program, and there was not a whole lot of diversity either. So I think that that possibly also contributed to my interest in or the ease at which I switched to psychology. I just happened to land in it's a liberal arts college. We all had to take a variety of specific classes, and I had a psychology one, and a really engaging professor. And in particular, I was very interested in developmental psychology and being a clinician. And so that led me to look into the area of clinical psychology with children, those under 18 more particularly. And as I started to look at that, I was very interested in mostly working with individuals who were traumatized and had the experiences that came from that. And that also led to awareness of who was more likely to have been experiencing trauma in our country. And it was certainly those who were underrepresented, and a lot of times were those folks who looked like me. And so, you know, the psychology field, I landed in Denver partly because it was a child program, partly because I found a psychologist mentor who was an African American woman. And so I felt like there was an opportunity to get some additional guidance and mentoring in the academic space. Um, it still was not very diverse. Psychology has improved. And so, you know, I think that as I made my way through, it was sort of reiterated my commitment to keep pursuing higher education so that I could represent something that I felt like I was missing in my journey, as evidence of somebody who could get a PhD and continue to contribute to research and mentor students. And so that sort of got me to UNM. I matched here and became a psychology trainee, and really felt like the values of the institution and New Mexico's commitment to community were someplace that I felt like I could contribute and you know, compared to some of the larger systems that I had been a part of. So, you know, I think that's I think my biggest reason for you know, health professions is just the overall awareness of how invisible the illnesses are that a lot of folks struggle with, especially children and adolescents, but certainly families, and wanting to keep contributing in that area. But specifically with a Black and African identified individuals, it's an opportunity to just continue to just be visible and be present and acknowledge our discipline and profession as one that is a viable career and one that could bring them lots of meaning and also contribute to their community. And then future endeavors, I think at this point, my commitment largely, and I think a lot of the efforts are elements of getting folks to actually talk and dialogue about diversity, and while also looking very particularly at policies and procedures and ensuring that as things kind of change in environments, that as an institution, we're also looking at ensuring that there's no opportunity for folks to deviate from that just because they choose, because the values and the policies of the institution align with DEI. So that's my journey in a nutshell. Did I cover everything that I was supposed to cover? No, I did. Okay.
Let me see if there's one more. Let me just check our little list. So
No,
your
no.
journey, how you're serving, and what the award means to you. How you're
Oh
continuing
yes,
to
what
serve.
the award means. I mean, I am always very grateful for acknowledgement of the work. But for every award that I receive, I also am aware of all of the people that contributed to that. That I'm very much a team sports, team oriented person, and recognize that in order for something to actually be successful and for it to actually be sustained, it shouldn't live with one person. One person might need to drive it initially to get it going, but the more that it's embedded within a team, then the more likely it is to actually be sustainable. And so I think that it's meaningful to me to see all the folks here who are also awardees, and thing also meaningful for those who do the nominating, and because that I think suggests that there's a larger group of folks who really are committed the same way that I am to the mission of all the health missions of diversifying our health professions, but in particular with Black and African identified folks.
Thank you so much, Lizzie. Really, so well deserved. all of our awardees, but it's so wonderful as we hear people's journeys, right? And just learn more about each other and just appreciate that and your continued work. And I want to open the floor up for others who may want to make any comments. And I'll also, because and Liz is here too, great. But please, I'll open the floor for others who would like to add their comments or congratulations, whatever you'd like to.
I'll step in.
Congratulations.
Congratulations, very well deserved, Lindsay.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Can I
listen.
say something about the nomination? Because actually I know more now than 15 minutes ago about why Lindsay's incredible. Hey, I'm Liz Hutchison. I'm a Lomas Boulevard crosser from Maid Campus and major fangirl of Lindsay's work in the policy sphere and the diversity hiring work that she's been championing for several years now. I constantly get your emails, Lindsay. Thank you. And what I wanted to say, I was thinking about the nomination and, you know, words like persistence and clarity, listening, engagement, delight all came to mind in the many Zoom committee meetings that, as I've watched Lindsay really shepherd this shifts in hiring practices and really stuck to it. But learning that you're both first an engineer and first a soccer player and a defender, I know it's really the grit that you bring from engineering and soccer that got you through and made you a leader really in some very difficult and tangled web of policy discussions. So that was really why I nominated you for this and why I'm really, really happy that you've been recognized for all of your work. And I realize how little I know about it. So thank you for also for the additional information. I'll meet you on Johnson Field later.
Thank you. And you won't meet me on Johnson Field because I pulled my muscle shooting on my child playing soccer. So those days are done.
I'd like to also say I'm a member of the fan club. So we may have to make some official meetings there, Dr. Hutchinson, but Dr. Smart's been an incredible ally to me. And I just wanted to say that, you know, a few years ago, I tried to do some initiatives here in our department and I talked to Dr. Smart about it. And she came to my office and helped me with some training with some of the staff and has always been somebody who's lent an ear and helped me out. So on many levels, I don't think everybody sees everything that Dr. Smart does. She's kind of quiet about it. So thank you, Dr. Smart.
And I'd like to add that Dr. Smart is an inspiration to all of us at UNM Health Sciences. You are an incredible leader. Your authenticity, your wisdom, your valuable contributions continue to advance us forward. Many of us are truly honored to be in your presence as part of the Office for Diversity, Equity, and Inclusion. And we want to thank you for constantly supporting each of us, for constantly supporting our communities. And you are truly deserving of this award, Dr. Smart. And it's a privilege to serve alongside you each year.
Thank you, Lawrence.
And I know there are several comments in the chat as well, and congratulations there. I'll say a few words. I have definitely the honor and privilege of getting to know and working with Lindsay very closely. And I know, Lindsay, you know how much I appreciate you and I just love how authentic you are and just very caring, right? And you're always willing to help everyone, as we've heard here today, right? And always do so in a very, humble way, willing to just, help in all sorts of different ways. And again, we heard from your story, just as you said, you just saw a need, right? And you're living what you're hoping to change. And you do so just in an incredible way. And again, thank you for everything you do. I think we could, for all of our awardees, be here and have an hour for each of them to kind of talk through and thank and appreciate all that you do. But thank you and congratulations. Really excited for this.
Thank you, everybody. Very grateful.
Okay, and then I know Lindsay, you'll have to shoot off to the eye doctor's appointment when you do, so we know that that you'll be headed that way. And
That
we'll
way I
go
can
on
see
to
you all next time.
oh yeah, we're just all a blur.
No, I can see you,
Well,
but it's kind of
actually,
hard
I
that
hope
year by
not. You're
year.
driving.
I can see you.
Oh yeah,
But I'll stay
we
on
won't
till the
go
last
there.
minute.
Okay, thank you so much. So our next awardee is Nicole Bedford, Community Engagement Liaison of UNMH DEI. Okay, Nicole.
Thank you. I do have an eye appointment later on this afternoon. So it must be eye day, but mine's for pink eye. So it's but thank you so very much for having me this afternoon. I'm deeply honored and humbled to accept the UNM Health and Health Science Office of Diversity, Equity, and Inclusion Black History Month Excellence Award. Thank you for selecting me for this esteemed recognition. My journey at UNMH, transitioning from education to healthcare, has been transformative. Although different, both sectors share the common thread of serving communities and advocating for equitable opportunities. While at the Office of African American Affairs as Deputy Director, I worked tirelessly on the Black Education Act, House Bill 43, which was passed in April of 2021 and implemented in July of 2021. The Black Education Act requires the implementation of culturally inclusive curriculum and anti-racism training, for which I laid the groundwork for my commitment to fostering positive change. In my time here, I've had the privilege of spearheading initiatives that directly influence the Black community's health and well-being. From establishing the Black Health Council to organizing community conversations on mental health through the programs like Sharing Hope, a National Alliance on Mental Illness program. Every endeavor has been driven by the collective goal of addressing disparities and promoting holistic wellness. I'm also working on having a benefit concert on the awareness of mental illness in the Black community at the end of May, and I'll also be working on a Black Health Fair in 2025. I haven't totally moved away from education. Under UNM Hospital Community Engagement Department, I led the first annual Go Girl Empowerment Summit in September last year with more than 325 girls from 6th to 8th grades from the Albuquerque area. These programs reaffirm my dedication to nurturing the next generation of leaders among young ladies of color, ensuring they have the support and resources to thrive. Receiving this award serves as both validation and motivation. It underscores the progress I've made while reminding me of the work that lies ahead. The journey toward equity and inclusion is ongoing, and I am committed to advocating, innovating, and collaborating to effect meaningful change. So thank you so much. This means a lot. And I also want to congratulate the other awardees as well. It's well deserved. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Nicole. That's just amazing how much you've done in the community and, like you said, for young women of color. But the Black Education Act is, really something that was very much needed to this day and a huge push. So thank you for that work. And I know in there, with your words, just how eloquent and learning a little bit more about you as well. And in particular, is there any more you'd like to share in terms of what the award means to you, or anything else about your journey that you feel we would love to hear?
It means a lot. It means the work that you're doing is not unnoticed, I guess that's how you say it. But it means a lot because I always tell everybody I'm the behind the scenes person. So I like to make an impact, but I'm just that behind the scenes person. And so having this means a lot. The Black Education Act was 6 years running. So we finally got it through and passed through legislation, but it took a long time to get that pushed through. So it's really enlightening and heartwarming to see it that it's finally out there and it's taking is making this impact for our young children, especially our children of color. I was born and raised in Albuquerque, New Mexico, and at a time where we were just really 1%, now we're 3%. But it's hard in the schools being the only one and being the only one in, in the classrooms. And when they
Yeah.
bring up slavery and stuff, all the kids look at you, and so it's hard. So I've been there, done that, and that's why it was so close to my heart in getting something passed, because we are just 3%, but those are our babies, and they're our future leaders. And if they don't feel safe in the schools, or they don't feel welcome, it makes an impact in their future. So that's what drove me, just really doing that. And then just being here at the hospital and being able to meet my fellow employees, and I mean my coworkers, and then being out in the community again is awesome. So it means a lot that it's noticeable, and that I'm able to make an impact in our Black community around health in another avenue. It's awesome.
Thank you very much for sharing all of that. And I'd like to open the floor now for others to please offer. And I know Millie, as the person who nominated, would love to hear from you as well.
Thank you, Dr. Romero-Leggett. I am just honored to have Nicole and UNMH team, and I think UNM in general. I think when I met Nicole, you see that you really care about her community, and having her, growing up here, she knows so many people, right? And then her face in the community, it's helping us to build a bridge with the Black and African American community and healthcare, because we know, as she mentioned, sometimes, that safety net, we need to improve it in UNM Hospital. So she is doing that not only with, like the community engagement, but also with our patients. She goes and had around with some patients are here, and they don't feel heard, and just they talked to her for 5 minutes, and they said, I'm glad that you are here, right? I know that you are on my side. So that's making a difference for the community that are, coming to UNMH. So I really appreciate Nicole's work, and also her transparency, just caring soul that is making a difference in the community. So thank you, Nicole. You're the best. And congrats to all the awardees. You are the best too. So I'm so happy to work with all of you.
And I wanted to also share that with Nicole, she has been inspirational in order to go in the direction of helping out in outreach towards people who otherwise would not have had that opportunity to outreach. I've known Nicole for about a couple of years now, and I really didn't understand how much she has been involved until just last year. And I talked to her through just other organizations, and just us having a conversation about shared interest. She mentioned the Umoja ABQ, which is a community group. Since I work in the community, it's something that they were in need of a health fair. And that's what led to the creation of the Scare Yourself to Health event in October of last year at St. Timothy's Lutheran Church. And so it was a great turnout for them from what they said. And I only have Nicole to help in that connection, and just knowing that, there is someone, and I know, and just seeing everyone here, that there is people here who are wanting to do what they can to give access to everyone, regardless of what they look like. So thank you, Nicole, for the connections and also your support.
I'd also like to congratulate Nicole. Nicole, you've been such an incredible and loyal partner for many, many years. I have had the privilege of collaborating with you to support a variety of community initiatives. I'm thinking back to all of the amazing Inner Beauty Summits, and then, of course, the successful Go Girl Empowerment Summit. Every organization and every endeavor that you support is truly valuable and has made a tremendous difference in our communities. We're elated that you've joined us at the UNM Health Sciences Center, and to see you recognized today just gives me great joy. You are truly deserving, and I congratulate you for this accomplishment.
Thank you, Dr. Roybal and Dr. Al Rashida and Millie. I couldn't do it without my director. She's the best. And she gives me leadway and opens the doors and lets me run with it. So that's awesome. Thank you all so very much. It's really appreciated. Thank you. Thank you. And Dr. Roybal, we go way back. So and you're always in my corner, always 100% always in my corner. So thank you.
Thank you all. And again, congratulations, Nicole. And just so wonderful again to just be learning more about the amazing people here at the Health and Health Sciences and the work that people are doing that touch so many others. And I appreciate what you said too about, you're someone who stays in the background, that, you're not like, oh, okay, like my name and everything's out there all the time, but really doing things that you feel passionate about, you feel that really drive you and that you care deeply about. So thank you for that. Really, again, congratulations. So our next awardee is Dr. Vanessa Al-Rashida, again, community faculty, Optum New Mexico and UNM School of Medicine. So I'm going to turn it over to you, Vanessa.
Thank you, Valerie. So my journey with medicine started out very young. I had a grandmother who was born in 1912 and gone through a lot in her life. And it was something that having her as a role model helped, amongst other things, to let me know that this is where I needed to be in the field of medicine. She wanted to be a nurse. She was saving up for it in rural Virginia. But because of the Great Depression, that was taken out of the banks and she lost that opportunity. And because of her loss, she could have gone in the direction of having raised the money again to go to be a nurse, but she also had 3 children. And she is someone that sacrificed, took multiple jobs in order to make sure that her children were able to go to college. And they were the first generation in our family to have done so as African Americans. And I'm the first one in my family to be a medical doctor. It's something that I guess really ever since I would say in kindergarten, that's what I wanted to be. I was going to my grandmother's doctor's appointments. I was seeing the interaction with how she was to the doctor. She would wear her Sunday finest to go because that's the doctor and that's essentially the right hand of God, essentially. So she was, her demeanor, I know how she is at home, how she was at home and how she was with the doctor. And so I was like, okay, this is a very important person. What do I need respect for that person too. So even just in the clinic at the time, she had blood drawn and I was just so amazed by it. I saw that she wasn't afraid at all and it made me not afraid either. So a lot of things with that experience, that's what helped me to want to go in this. It was challenging yet rewarding field of medicine and being the first and everything after that. So for medical school, went to like the 6-year BA MD program instead of having to go through 8 years of getting a bachelor's and medical degree. I got it done in 6 years. I had a group of African-American peers with me, and it was disheartening to see the numbers of them dwindling as the years kept going on. It is something that during medical school, it was education that we were receiving that was necessary, but at the same time, it was a question on why is it that African-Americans suffer the worst health outcomes than other races and ethnicities? It wasn't really a strong answer to that. And because of that, I was like, well, I need to figure that out, but I need to also get done with this degree. So after getting done and, with moving on to the next step, and God does things in a very mysterious way, I had the opportunity of going in the direction of getting my master's in public health. And so that's what helped me to get more information and answer those questions for me. That this is not something that we were born with. It is something that is in combination with our environment. That there are health things that, like cancer, certain cancers, heart disease, and stroke, that impact us more than others. And when it comes to my personal approach in addressing people, it's addressing them as if they are my grandmother. They are my family, regardless of what they look like. And it's all of us are human at the end of the day. And to hear that they are a continuation of things like racism in the healthcare field, that hits home for me. And so because of that, that's what leads on to these initiatives of not just access to care in the community, but also how we can work on that in the medical field too. And so there's people on this during this meeting here that I have the pleasure and was very fortunate to have met. The Office of Community Engagement with Nicole Bedford, also with Communities to Careers with Amy Green, as well as Stacy Collar, CU, and also my community as well. I have individuals on here that were hearing about this, like, yes, I need to get on here. So, they're here as well. So when it comes to just what the next steps are for me with this community, New Mexico is my second home. I'm not from here originally. I'm a transplant, but this is somewhere that is near and dear to my heart. And when it comes to next steps forward, it's in a partnership, it is in collaboration. It's not just awareness, but how can we all work together to make sure that health is easily accessible, it's affordable, and it's for everyone. And how can we let our Black brothers and sisters know that? And when it comes to what this award means to me, honestly, I was very, very surprised about it. I didn't hear about it until last week from Amaris saying, hey, you want to give your information? I'm like, what are you talking about? So, so when it comes to this award, as mentioned, it is something that I am very grateful for and very thankful for being acknowledged for it. It is something that was something instilled in me to do, regardless of wanting any acknowledgement or recognition of what I do. This is what I was called to do. And this award is not just to acknowledge me, but also everyone who is not acknowledged this day. And I thank you all so much. I am very privileged and blessed to have been in the same arena as everyone here who has received this award. And I continue to steadfast in a positive direction in all the pursuit of healthcare for not just Black people, but also for everyone with health equity. And I hope I answered all the little pinpoint questions that I received, and I thank you guys so much for this. Truly, thank you.
Well, congratulations so much, Dr. Al-Rashida, and just thank you for, talking to us and sharing your journey and what was so meaningful to you and about your grandmother, and just the fact that you're saying, like, can we continue to all work together so that this is something, the access, the equitable care that everyone has, right? For everyone, regardless of. So just really appreciate your words, and we thank you so much. And I will open it up to the floor, but I will first just make mention because I know that you were nominated by Bianca Vasquez. And she had informed us that she wouldn't be able, unfortunately, to make it today. But I'll just read a little bit, a little bit of her words, share those, and then open it up to the rest. But she says, in recognition of Dr. Al-Rashida, of her outstanding commitment to orchestrating so many events, including Juneteenth, Gear Yourself to Health, Spring Yourself to Health, and Spring Yourself to Health. And then she reached out on several opportunities for our health science students, including the interprofessional honor students to volunteer for these events. And we know how important it is to have our young health professionals there, and especially our health professionals who look like the students we're trying to bring into the health profession as we diversify it. Bianca said these opportunities are not only beneficial to our communities, but also for fostering historical awareness. This award is very well deserved. So we thank you, Bianca, even though you could be here with us today, for nominating Dr. Al-Rashida and sharing and allowing us to learn more about her. So I will open it up to the floor, and congratulations again, Dr. Al-Rashida.
I want to congratulate you too. Like you were saying, we've worked with each other for a couple of years, and I just know the dedication that Dr. Al-Rashida has out there. If there's a task to do, she's there. With the Spring Your Health, the Scare Yourself to Health in the spring. It started just from October, and now it's gone into May, and we're doing it again in October. And so it's just, her drive and her dedication to the community is wonderful, and it's great. And congratulations, it's a well-deserved award. I know the effort that you put out into the community, and especially the Black community, is unstoppable, and it's great. So thank you. Congratulations.
Thank you, Nicole.
Thank you so much, Dr. Al-Rashida, for getting involved with our Communities to Careers programs and really helping to guide us towards how we can improve how we're creating these pathways, especially for our Black and African American youth in the city. Our team's on here. We're, so excited to celebrate with you and the other awardees as well, because each of you, from Dr. Smart, Nicole, each of you just give so much of your time, not just to your work and your field, that direct work, but also giving back to that next generation, and raising up young people. It's just amazing. I feel like that seems to be a theme for today. And I'm just feeling very inspired and lucky to be colleagues with you all. So congratulations, everybody.
Thank you. And thank you for your words as well for others adding to this. And, Vanessa, we worked together a little bit with the Medical Society and Gamma and others, but I would really echo a lot of what Amy was saying, because the one thing that I know that stands out to me a lot is always your caring and wanting to make sure that we are preparing diverse health workforce and starting as young as we can in that. So always about, our youth and our future health professionals, and again, that diversity in that workforce. So your passion to work with youth, to involve them in so many of the things that we do, really very much appreciated. Thank you. Okay. Oh, I think, do we have a hand up? Please go ahead.
I would be remiss to allow this opportunity to pass without saying just a brief statement to Dr. Vanessa Al-Rashida. I want to say I'm so proud and privileged to be able to see our family legacy move forward, and for you to make all of our ancestors proud, not just today, but every day. Thank you for inviting me, and I congratulate all of the recipients as they're making their families proud as well, leading the way to taking care of our people. Thank you for letting me be a part. Take care, everyone.
Thank you so much for your words and for joining us here today. And I think we're all very our hearts are filled and we're very teary-eyed, but thank you for that. And we know how meaningful this was and what you've meant. And we know that Dr. Awashida would not be here without you. And thank you so much for those words. We will go on to our next awardee, who is Ruth, who I see here, Ruth Keith. And Ruth, I'm going to turn the floor over to you, but just remind people that Ruth is our senior medical practice specialist in the Department of Pathology. And we'll turn the floor to you now and would like to hear from you and congratulate you as well.
Thank you very much, Dr. Romero-Leggett. I'm not as good speaking off the cuff as some of the other folks here, so I did write up something. So I'm going to be reading from that. But first of all, I want to thank everyone for this honor. It's truly humbling, especially after I hear the accomplishments of the other awardees. Everyone is so inspirational, and I'm already thinking of ways to step up my game because I've just been really moved by the things that everyone's done. So when I learned I had won this award, I was incredibly surprised. I also wasn't aware that I'd been nominated. So I'm glad I've had a week to kind of digest this and reflect on why it had such a profound impact on me. So I think to understand this, it's better to know a little bit more about me. I don't think many of you, I don't work with you day in and day out, like you may with some of the others. So my father and my husband, they were both active military, and they both retired from the service. So I like to say I had 36 years consecutive service, even though I wasn't active duty. But if you're unfamiliar with the U.S. military services, they're incredibly diverse. And they were really diverse even in my youth. The Black and African American military members have a really rich history of contributing to the missions and keeping America safe for hundreds of years, for at least 100 years more. I can remember my father saying he had to go to equal opportunity training every year. And I believe the DoD expanded their definitions of diversity way back in the 70s to include many areas of American diversity. And this was when I was in high school, not that old. I graduated in 1980. But as a military dependent, we moved a lot when I was a kid. We finally moved to Germany, where I graduated from an American Department of Defense high school. And I think it was here in the last few years that I was in high school that really formed the foundation of the rest of my life. There was a lot of opportunities for me as a youth with my parents when I was in middle school to travel to other countries. I lived on an island in the Pacific, and half my teachers' English was their second language. I was really fortunate. At the time, I don't think I thought it was so fortunate because I had to leave my friends every 3 years, but in hindsight, it was probably the best thing that ever happened to me. And so when I moved to Germany, in my sophomore year of high school, where I thought I was going to die, and it was 2 weeks before I could learn to drive, so I was mad at my parents. I found out that I became a member of a community of American kids. Our cultures were similar. The fact that we went to the same American school system, watched the same TV shows, listened to the same music, watched movies, was so different than our German friends. Everything was so different for them that we had so much in common. I don't think we realized we were Americans, period. We went to prom, we went to football games, went on a senior class trip. We had a great time. Our parents worked for the same employer. Our parents had the same promotion requirements. Pay was structured based on rank. And frankly, most people were respected for their abilities and for their character. I mean, in 1978, my primary care physician was an African-American major who was in the Air Force, one of my favorite doctors. Our high school class president, the year I graduated, who was elected by the whole school body, was African-American. And the treasurer was my best friend. She was a Puerto Rican American of African descent. And I never thought there was anything remarkable about that. It's only now in hindsight that I look back and I think maybe we were a little bit ahead of our times. But then I returned to the US to go to college, and my family stayed back in Germany, and I went to college in Florida. culture wasn't the same. I had a pretty rude awakening to the reality of living in the American South, and that has impacted me, I'd say, for the rest of my life. But I did earn a master's degree in audiology, which is slightly medically related. And then I married somebody in the military, and we moved overseas for 6 years. It was lovely living in Italy, but it totally derailed my audiology career. By the time I came back, we had children. It was important for me to integrate them back into US culture, make sure that they were doing well in school. And my life took a quick left turn. I reflect often how I thought I had my whole life planned out when I was 23. And I think many of us realize later on that we were pretty naive. Most people don't end up exactly where they thought they were when they were 23 years old. So I've had a few different jobs now that I've been back in the US, but I started here at UNM in 2015. And again, I was rudely shocked about a year later to realize that I'd made a profound mistake of becoming comfortable. And I'm ashamed to say that in a way. I'd surrounded myself by like-minded people. They were diverse. They were like-minded, though. My daughters had grown into wonderfully accepting women who had an incredibly diverse group of friends that I was allowed to hang out with sometimes. So it made me feel cool. But I've told the story to others and maybe even to the person who nominated me. But the bottom line is that I was rocked to my core then. And after I got over my shock, I kind of resolved I needed to do more. And at that time, I decided to expand my definition of the sphere of influence. I've used that word for quite a few years. And I wanted to truly become an ally to my friends. I wanted to step into situations, no matter how uncomfortable they were, to try to learn more, try to make a difference, and try to help educate others. So now back to what does this award mean to me? It means that the steps I've taken, I don't always see a profound impact. I just keep talking about diversity, keep trying to do this, that, and the other. But it means that maybe I've been seen and heard, and that maybe I have begun to make a difference, no matter how small it is. So the person I know nominated me, Tyler Weisner, is an incredible addition to UNM staff. They're intelligent, they're hardworking, and they're committed to making this world a better place for everyone. Like so many their age, they give me hope for a better future. So maybe it didn't take too much effort on my part to impress on her the importance of diversity, but it does encourage me to keep pushing. So how will I continue to assist? I'll continue with the efforts I've been doing. I've been listening a lot, particularly to applicants that we've had come through the door who haven't wanted to stay here. I've been trying to find out why. And a lot of them are telling me they don't see people who look like them. And it makes me think about that 3% population, which was, it's increasing. And I realized that those people don't have physicians that look like them. So I've reached out, I've talked to some of our residents who are African American and Black, and they've helped guide me to community resources. So I'm going to continue to work with those community resources and engage them in our recruiting efforts. I think it's important that when we recruit, our candidates can see that they have support, that there are people here like them, and they can help grow the population that we need to have here. I'm also working with Dr. Fernander and others on trying to establish a pipeline for trainees and faculty from historical Black college and universities. And so there's more to it. Of course, I'm going to continue to listen. But last week, right after I found out about this, I volunteered at the School of Medicine Office for Diversity's guest speaker series last week when Valerie Carr was here. And one of the things that she said that really was profoundly impacted me was that underrepresented communities don't really need allies anymore. Those are the people who listen, learn, and validate. She challenged us and said that what we need are co-conspirators. Those who are compelled to take action. And I want to take action. I want to take another step further into what maybe sometimes is uncomfortable conversations. I want to be a part of our BJEDI community here at UNM. And I want to work with people outside of the institution to make that sphere of influence I was talking about even bigger. So thank you again for this honor, because it really has had a profound impact on me. So thank you.
Congratulations again, Ruth, and thank you for sharing your journey and your vulnerability, right? I mean, that was just really so much appreciated, and I don't think any of us can underscore the how important listening is and action. So thank you for speaking to that, and as Valerie Cora was saying, being a co-conspirator. So I'm going to open the floor. Congratulations to you again. I know, Tyler, you nominated Ruth, and we want to also say some words.
Yes, absolutely. Thank you. I just wanted to, I'll keep it brief, I promise, because I think we can all hear the authenticity in Ruth's voice as she's telling her story. And like she said, she did tell me her story as well. I've known Ruth for about a year now, and just working around her, as somebody who also values diversity and inclusion and every bit of the world around me, it's just so validating and inspiring to work so closely with somebody that also values those things. She consistently establishes and prioritizes those connections with members of the Black and African American communities in our department, and she does everything in her power to ensure that their voices are heard. She also has continued to reach out to members of these communities and at other universities and institutions to foster more collaborative relationships and just to really bolster the voices of our student, staff, and faculty. She really goes above and beyond, and I feel so lucky to work so closely with her. So thank you, Ruth.
I would also like to say something about Ruth. I'm Bert Martinez, the DA at Pathology, and Ruth just told her journey. But one thing I find very amazing is that she always reaches out to find out everybody else's journey. When we have human interactions, and there's frustrations, and we all come from a different point of view. She reaches out and goes and has coffee, goes for a walk, and has a chat with them to find out where they're coming from. Anywhere from what part of the country did you come from, and what was your upbringing kind of like. And she comes back with such a perspective of what they really, what each individual is looking for, and how can we help them achieve their goals. So I think that just embodies the whole idea of higher education and helping to shape our future. So I think Ruth has such a huge impact on that. I would, she, in her talk, she mentioned she's trying to have impact. She is having impact. So thank you, Ruth. I think it's well deserved.
Thank you for those words, Bert. Really appreciate that. And I know we are too close to our time here, and just really again want to thank everyone for joining us for our Health Sciences Office for Diversity, Equity, and Inclusion Excellence Awards, and our awardees to celebrate, because we hear so much of not great things happening around in our institution and the world, and it's true. I mean, these are the facts, but it is so important that we come together and we really learn more about each other, and we celebrate the amazing, wonderful people that we have here and that we get to work with, and learn about their work and create new partners and colleagues. And again, just sharing our stories and really hearing this, I think, changes all of us, and is just appreciated. But I appreciate again that we can come together to celebrate and to really lift you all, our awardees, and thank you all for being here today. Congratulations again.
Thank you very much.
Yeah.